The dental ink content for this month is on the topic of cyst of the oral and maxillofacial region. What is a cyst? A cyst is basically defined as a pathological cavity having fluid, semi-fluid, or gaseous contents and is not created by the accumulation of pus. It is frequently but not always lined by an epithelium, and this definition was given by Kramer in the year 1974. So the basic classification of the cyst of the oral and maxillofacial region was devised by Scheer in 2007, and according to him, it has been classified as cyst of the jaws, under which we have the epithelial, which includes the developmental odontogenic, such as gingival cyst of infants, OKC, dentigerous cyst, eruption cyst, gingival cyst of adults, botidoid odontogenic cyst, calcifying odontogenic cyst, non-odontogenic category, which includes the nasopalatine duct cyst, nasolabial mid-palatal raphe cyst, median palatine cyst, globulomaxillary cyst, inflammatory origin, which includes the radicular cyst, which is the most common, the apical and lateral variants, residual cyst, paradental cyst, and inflammatory collateral cyst. Non-epithelial category includes the solitary bone cyst, such as the traumatic simple hemorrhagic bone cyst and aneurysmal bone cyst. So it's basically a pseudocyst. The second category after the jaws includes cysts associated with the maxillary antrum, which includes the benign mucosal cyst of the maxillary antrum, post-operative maxillary cysts, which includes the surgical ciliated cyst of the maxilla, cysts of the soft tissues of the mouth, face, and neck. It includes dermoid, epidermoid cyst, lymphoepithelial, thyroglossal duct cyst, anterior median lingual cyst, cystic hygroma, thymic cyst, and certain other parasitic cysts. The other classification updated in 2017 categorizes into odontogenic cyst of inflammatory origin, which includes the radicular cyst and inflammatory collateral cyst, odontogenic and non-odontogenic developmental cyst, which includes dentigerous cyst, OKC, lateral periodontal cyst, gingival cyst, glandular odontogenic cyst, calcifying odontogenic cyst, nasopalatine duct cyst. So these are the theories of cyst expansion, which includes the mural growth theory, hydrostatic enlargement because of the hydrostatic pressure accumulation, the role of bone dissolving factors, the osteoclasts, and certain other factors. The cyst basically proliferates because of lack of nutrition or autolysis, proliferation of the peripheral cysts around the preformed cystic lumen or a cavity, fusion of certain smaller microcysts or daughter cysts, and central cells acquire antigenic properties and are targeted and lysed and contributes to the expansion and formation of the system. So this is a surgical procedure for general treatment, includes an enucleation or a marsupialization. So enucleation is the total removal of the cyst along with the cystic lining so that there is no recurrence, and marsupialization is creating a surgical window to drain the contents of the cyst done for larger cysts. Some of the common features of the common cyst of the jaws. For the epithelial line cyst of developmental origin, the most common, here we have a picture showing the dental lamina cyst of the newborn, otherwise known as Bonn's nodules. They are superficial keratin cyst, and because of the proliferation and keratinization of the cells of Serrae, which are the remnants of the dental lamina that interfere with the tooth development, it proliferates at the 10 weeks of intrauterine life. So radiographically, it shows as a soft tissue mass, which usually doesn't require any treatment and ruptures spontaneously. So this is the odontogenic keratocyst, and we have the different radiographic variants such as the replacement type, envelopmental type, collateral type, and extraneous type. So the main sources will be cells of Serrae envelopmental, enamel organ for the replacemental, offshoots of hamartias, and there are two forms, central intraosseous and peripheral extraosseous variant. And one of the most important syndrome associated with multiple OKCs includes the nevoid basal cell carcinoma syndrome or the Gorlin-Gall syndrome that is associated with certain other spine and skeletal abnormalities. Most common site is the posterior region of the mandible. Radiographically, we can see a unilocular or a multilocular well-defined radiolucency with scalloped margins. And the mandibular lesions can extend to the other side, crossing the midline, and histopathologically it contains cystic lumen and parakeratinized epithelium. So this is the radiographic picture. You can see there is an odontogenic keratocyst of the right side of the mandible. There's an impacted tooth as well. And there is scalloped border. It's a unilocular radiolucency and multilocular, possibly extending into the larynx. Histopathological picture showing parakeratinized stratified lining epithelium and separated from the connective tissue capsule, and there's also a satellite cyst. Next is the dentigerous or the follicular cyst, and it has two origins, which is the infrafollicular and the extrafollicular origin. And radiographically, there are three variants: central, lateral, and circumferential. And this is the radiographic OPG picture showing an impacted foramen And here also there is an impact of 3-1 or possibly a 3-5. And there is resorption of the root as well. So this is a histopathological picture. Usually it contains on aspiration certain kinds of yellow color or straw color fluid because of the cholesterol crystals. This is an eruption cyst. So it's an odontogenic cyst with histological features and lentiginous cyst. So it's a soft fluctuant mass, and if there is any surface trauma, it can cause an eruption hematoma. Calcifying odontogenic cyst, also known as Godwin cyst. It can be a simple cyst or associated with hematomas or benign neoplasms. It shows radiographically a snow-driven appearance. This is the histopathological feature of clear cells. Lateral periodontitis occurs in the lateral, either in the mesial or the distal aspect of the tooth, along with the periodontium. This is the pathogenesis. First, it looks like a attached to the CEJ and then extends more towards the mesial aspect, that is lateral. Radiographic picture shows a ovoid radiolucency on the adjacent side of T4. Botulinum odontogenic cyst resembles a bunch of grapes, and this is gingival cyst of adults. So these are the aspirates showing straw-colored fluid. Epithelial cyst of non-odontogenic developmental origin. Nasopalatine duct cyst, also known as incisive canal cyst, seen in the incisive papillary region. This is the picture. Radiographically, it resembles like a heart-shaped radiolucency that is seen between the central incisors. Nasolabial cyst, again a soft tissue cyst. This is a globulomaxillary cyst. This is the occlusal picture. Inflammatory origin, the most common is the radicular cyst known as the periapical cyst. It initiates, there is a phase of periapical infection causing phase of initiation with the associated with the deep carious tooth. Cyst forms and then enlarges through various hydrostatic theories and other neural theories. And this is the radiographic picture. There's an RC treated, so it is always associated with a non-vital teeth. And there is also a corticated bone. Residual cyst occurs when there is a tooth extracted or there's an edentulous site. Some kind of nidus causing the cyst to remain. Non-epithelial, we have a solitary bone cyst. This is a crop panoramic view. It is also known as the traumatic cyst because of some kind of traumatic theory, trauma to the bone causing intramedullary hemorrhage, and there's failure of the early organization of the hematoma causing traumatic cyst. Aneurysmal bone cyst, seen in the anterior region of the mandible. It's a benign intraosseous lesion associated with fibroblastic tissue, and there's primary and secondary aneurysmal bone cyst, and there's surgical exploration. Treatment includes a surgical curettage or an excision. These are the cysts of the maxillary antrum. That is called as antral cyst. So here we have a opacification that is seen in the right maxillary sinus. So these are the CPCT sections, a panoramic view, and this is the tangential or the sagittal section, and there's measurement of the cyst done for both the mesiodistal and the antero-inferior aspect. This is the axial section showing the cyst, and this is the coronal section showing the opacification. So these are the various suggested reading and references. Thank you.